If you're not a little stressed out and a bit overwhelmed by being in charge of a probate estate or trust, then you're either too cool or in some form of denial. What starts out as a simple job of being an executor, administrator, or a trustee is filled with potholes, obstacles, and problems that you could never have fully expected. Anybody who is so fortunate as to own California real estate is blessed with our great weather, a house they already know, and a neighborhood they call home. Some families are able to stay here for generations. Our business is making that possible. You need to know that there are barriers that need to be dealt with even before the family can enjoy those benefits. My name is Rick Harmon, and I've been in your shoes before. In fact, more than once. For over 30 years, I've made it my life's work to become the leading non-attorney authority on inherited California property, tangled trusts and estates in chaos. Whether your title is administrator, executor, or even trustee, there are other people to consider if you're in charge. Of course, you wear at least two different hats. One hat is your responsibility to other heirs or beneficiaries, as well as creditors and the taxman. The other hat you wear is your own. It often helps to remember which hat you're wearing at any given time. If you are receiving property or helping to keep property in the family, just for now or forever, there are likely some challenging obstacles that you will face. Most of the challenges will fall into the category of time problems, money problems, or people problems. Unless there's a lot of cash and savings, checking, there will be bills to pay and no way to pay them without selling the property, other assets, or borrowing. However, it's not as easy as going to the bank because banks don't make loans to the people in charge of either probate estates or trusts. Sometimes, the person in charge of the estate or trust discovers that the decedent was very secretive about their money and bills and discovers them well into the process. After her mother died, Martha discovered that her mom had a small mortgage in the house when she was going through a pile of unopened mail and letters from the lender. That big bank with the friendly commercials would not even take Martha's calls. An ongoing misunderstanding with the county tax collector can be inherited from his dad left Steve tens of thousands of dollars in unpaid property taxes, and now it was set for auction. Audrey's family challenged the will, and she needed to either sell the property or find a way to borrow enough to split the inheritance and settle the estate. Glenda's aunt left her property in trust. However, there was an aggressive squatter living in the garage and no money to pay the attorney to get them out. So how did each of these good people get the money to solve their problems? Each of them solved these challenges with a closed probate mortgage from the Suburban Group, a lender that specializes in financing California estates and trusts. The closed probate mortgage is an equity-based mortgage loan that is made to the estate or trust entity, not the individual. In 1976, I was a young college student when my dad died unexpectedly. It was up to my mom and I to work hard to keep the house to pay all the bills, taxes, and of course, the probate attorney. We had to pay cash for almost everything, so I know what it feels like when money is tight and you're trying to juggle the bills. Back then, there was no such thing as a lender that made loans during probate. Banks didn't help then, and they still don't now. This fact always stuck with me. So in the mid-1980s, I started the Suburban Group, and within a few years, our only business was lending to the people in charge of estates and trusts so that they could keep the property in the family and not be forced to sell. You may feel that the universe is conspiring to work against you. Have a little faith. That's just not true. You don't have to do this alone. If you're in charge of the probate estate or trust with California property, you've made a good decision if you need to borrow now. You may be experiencing chaos, confusion, feeling a bit overwhelmed, maybe even dreading something or someone. We're going to help you get through this and provide some clarity along the way too. We're not attorneys. We're a highly specialized lender who understands your situation. You know, after 30 plus years, we're committed to working with people who have realistic expectations to solve their estate financing problems. However, this is not for you if the property isn't in California, or if you're not in charge or have no influence with the person who is in charge, like the executor, administrator, or trustee. Or if you're shopping for low rates, because these loans are only offered at a premium rate, probably 4 to 6% over bank rates, which of course are unavailable. Or property already has a big loan or liens on it that cover over half the equity already. And to be clear, there is no sense in taking each other's time if your only reason to borrow is to save money. However you got here, whether by your attorney or trusted friend, we want to make it as easy to get the full benefits of your inherited home, whether borrowing to keep the property in the family just for now or forever. We've made this easy. You get started, just like the doctor's office when you're a new patient. We need to ask you a few questions. We call the next step the referral introduction. You'll need to tell us a few things about your situation before we speak so that we're not a stranger. Start by completing the online questionnaire or introduce yourself by calling us at 1-800-779-2552 and by answering a few questions including the property address so that we can focus our call and understand your situation better. This step is free to you and required before scheduling your closed probate discovery consultation. Just click on the next button below, Close Probate. It's in our name, and we've been helping people do this for over 30 years.